Hey guys, hello and welcome to my channel. Last week in a video I discussed why smartphones nowadays come with multiple cameras but professional cameras do not. I have put that video link in description. So if you want to watch it, then you can. In that video I made it clear that the number of cameras and their number of pixels or megapixels have nothing to do with the picture quality. So today in this video, I am going to discuss how you can choose a better camera, be it on a smartphone or a professional one. As a starter, you can see two pictures side by side on your screen right now. The one in the right is taken by Google Pixel 4 with its 12 megapixel camera and has much better picture quality than the one in the left, which is taken by Xiaomi Note 10 with its 108 megapixel camera. Why does this happen? You will find out if you watch this video. This video may be long, but I will try to keep it as short as possible, that too without missing even a small detail. First of all, what is megapixel? Well, mega means million, so 1 megapixel camera means that it can capture 1 million pixels in one shot. Now, what is pixel? First of all, don't get confused between Pixel and Google Pixel. Google Pixels are name given to Android smartphones manufactured by Google. Now, I am talking about the pixels in an image. If you don't know, every picture or screen is made up of tiny dots which are lighted up in different colors to create the picture. Here I have an illustration for you. You can see the square on your screen, not much surprising, right? But if we add more squares to it, this is what happens. If you go on adding more and more squares and color them in a correct order, you will find that it's forming an image. The more squared you add, the more crisp the image becomes. And finally, you can see the clear image of a tiger here. The image depends on the color of each individual square. If you know how to color each square, then you can create any image you want. Each square in this picture is called a pixel. It is most probable that you are watching this video on a 1080p display. That means that your screen has 1080 pixels from top to bottom and 1920 pixel from left to right. So the total number of pixels in a 1080p display is the multiplication product of 1080 and 1920, which is 2,073,600. It is approximately equal to 2 million. That means a 1080p display has a little more than 2 million pixels. Now, does this question come to your mind that if a 1080p display has about 2 million pixel and mega means million, then a little more than 2 megapixel camera must be enough to capture a 1080p shot? If yes, then you are right. To capture a 1080p video or photo, the minimum camera requirement is a little more than 2 megapixel. In your screen right now, you can see a chart that shows the number of horizontal, vertical and total pixels of different resolutions along with their megapixels. You can also calculate the megapixels on your own to find that you just need a 8.3 megapixel camera for 4K shot and 33.2 megapixel camera for a 8K shot. However, in reality, an 8.3 megapixel camera sensor has an aspect ratio of about 4:3, and the standard 4K resolution is 16:9, due to which an 8 megapixel camera cannot capture standard 4K, but a picture taken using a 4:3 12 megapixel camera sensor can be cropped to standard 4K resolution. So you need a 12 megapixel camera for a 4K shot. Similarly, for a standard 16:9 8K shot, you need a minimum of 48 megapixel camera. But smartphone cameras nowadays have gone up to 108 megapixels. This is nothing but a marketing strategy for brands like Samsung and Xiaomi, who have been providing 108 megapixel camera. So now, you know how much megapixel or resolution is enough for a camera. Going more than 48 megapixel or even 20 megapixel is overkill. That's exactly what Google and Apple knows very well. That's exactly why the Google Pixel phones and iPhones can capture 4K videos and photos just by using a 12 megapixel camera. And don't think that more megapixel can enhance the colors and the picture quality. To prove myself, I will give you an example in which more megapixel actually worsen the picture quality. For that example, you need to watch this video till the end. Now let me tell you what factors determine the picture quality. While choosing a camera, you need to check its sensor size, aperture size of the lens, and probably the most important one is image processing. We will talk about processing later in this video, but now, let's talk about sensor size. There's actually one more spec apart from these three, that is pixel size. But if sensor size is more, the size of each individual pixel will automatically be more. So pixel size may be considered the same as sensor size for now. The sensor size, as the name suggests, is the actual size of the camera sensor. It tells you how big or small the camera sensor is. Now, the question is, why does size matter? After all, bigger is not always better. Yes, but sometimes, bigger is better. I will tell you why. You may already know that cameras capture the light. That's exactly what our eyes do. You cannot see in dark or if there's very low light. More the light, the better you can see. That's exactly why cameras perform much better in outdoor sunlight. Now if sensor size is more, I already said that pixel size will also be more. As a result, the light falling into each individual pixel will be more. So the colors will be more accurate, and so is with the image quality. You might have seen how big the sensor of a professional camera is as compared to a smartphone camera. That's why it gives better picture quality. Now the question is how to know the sensor size. If you are trying to choose a professional camera, you will find its sensor size very easily in its specifications. But if you are choosing a smartphone, then go to the site called Device Specifications. Its link is given in description. You will find all specs of almost every smartphone, even the non-popular ones. If you go to the page of any smartphone of your choice and scroll down to camera, it will show you the details. If you have a look at the sensor size or pixel size, you will find some strange numbers. Just don't worry, I will explain you. The pixel size will be in micrometer. The more that number is, the more will be the pixel size. It's that simple. And if you look at the sensor size, it will be in fraction, most probably 1/some numbers. You just need to divide 1 or whatever the number before that slash is by the number you find after the slash. The more the answer you get, the more is the sensor size. Alternately, you can also use this chart here. It shows the comparison of the sensor sizes visually. So, now you know about sensor size and pixel size, but that's not all. Actually, comparing the pixel size is more helpful than comparing the sensor size. Why, you ask? I will answer you with an example in which even after having a larger sensor, the camera did not perform better than another camera with a smaller sensor. But before that you need to know about the aperture size. So now, let's move forward to aperture size. Aperture size is a property of the lens and not the sensor. It tells you the size of the aperture. Now what is aperture? Aperture is the opening or hole in the lens diaphragm through which light passes. As I said earlier, more light means better picture. So I think you already understood that more aperture size is better. That's exactly how simple it is. Now how to know the aperture size? Well, for professional cameras, just get a lens with larger aperture. You will always find this detail while buying a lens. Now for smartphones, go to the same site I told earlier. Device Specifications, link in description. If you check the aperture size this time, you will see f/a number. But, believe me, it's simple. The less the number after the slash, the more is the aperture size. Just be careful, the number after the slash should be less, for the aperture size to be more. I hope you get it. This was for aperture size. Now, I will give the example I promised. If you compare the sensor and aperture size of Xiaomi Note 10 with those of iPhone 11, you will find that sensor size and aperture size of the Xiaomi Note 10 is more, but still its camera performs not as good as iPhone 11. This is because of the 108 megapixel camera in Xiaomi Note 10 and 12 megapixel camera in iPhone 11. In this example, more megapixels actually worsen the picture quality. Why does this happen? Because if the sensor has more megapixels, the size of each individual pixel gets smaller. If you fit more items into the same place, the items have to be smaller. No doubt the sensor size of Xiaomi Note 10 is more, but there are so many pixels that each pixel becomes too small. You can check that the pixel size of Xiaomi Note 10 is a little more than half of iPhone 11. This is why, even after having a larger sensor and aperture, the small pixel size ruined its quality. That means comparing pixel size is more helpful than comparing sensor or aperture size. Now, probably the most important factor, the image processing. Why is it the most important? While the camera just captures the light falling on it, it's the job of the device to process all of the light falling in each individual pixel and put all the colors which together forms an image. Google uses a very advanced image processing hardware in their Pixel phones. They have a specialized proprietary system for image processing due to which it can capture pictures which are comparable to professional cameras. Now, as we found out earlier in this video, the 12 megapixel camera can capture in 4K and 48 megapixel can capture in 8K. That's true, but partially. Capturing a 4K or 8K image is much easier for the processor, if you have a 12 or 48 megapixel camera respectively. But, image processing is put to test while capturing a video. As you may already know, a video is a very fast transition of images captured within seconds. For a standard video, a minimum of 24 pictures are captured in a second. These 24 images are then played together, which makes a 24 FPS video. FPS here means frames per second. It is the number of images shown or captured in a second. Smartphone cameras nowadays can capture up to more than 900 FPS. This requires a very powerful processor. Talking about Google Pixel 4, its 12 megapixel camera can record video at 4K. It's same for newer iPhones too. But there are many smartphones that have 12 megapixel camera. All of them can capture 4K picture, but most of them cannot record a 4K video because the processor is not powerful enough. Capturing a picture at 4K is easy, but recording a video is tough. It's the same for 8K. All smartphones with 48 megapixel camera can take a picture at 8K. But all of them cannot record video at 8K. Reason: the image processing is not good enough. Apart from Google and Apple, most other smartphone manufacturers like Samsung and Chinese brands are stuck with the numbers of megapixels they can provide as a marketing strategy. Most of them just don't care about the sensor, pixel and aperture size. Samsung however did a great job in its Galaxy S20 lineup. The sensor and pixel size of Galaxy S20 lineup is more than those of iPhone 11 and Google Pixel 4. The aperture sizes of these three devices are almost same. And their picture quality are also comparable. And that's it guys. I hope you all understood how to choose the best camera. Press the like button and make it blue if you like the video. But I will not even request you to like the video if you didn't like it. If you think the video was not good, you are free to hit the dislike button, but don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching the video and don't forget to enjoy every moment of your life.